Welcome back to Breakfast Central. We're still exploring the conversation about the NLC and its proposed strike, and we're joined by public affairs commentator Adeni Yukunu. Thank you very much for joining us. All right.
Can I continue, please?
Yes, please go ahead.
All right, thank you very much. I want to remind us of the last administration and how the president, talking about the former president Muhammad Buhari, made lots of promises that should have favored the people of this country, but those promises were not carried through. I think that it has come to a stage where the groups that represent Nigerians must understand the consistency of the gimmicks that come from the government of the day and how they continue to postpone the evil day. Let me remind us on this program today that in 2015, there should have been and I'm saying here that even in my own country, this government did not give me 1,000 naira. And why am I saying this is that we must put the proper premium on the lives of our citizens so that we can demonstrate to those in power that the interest should first be about the welfare of the people and not the welfare of the elites of political class. So for Joe Ajero and Osifo, I think they should understand and not just become those who are representing a party or a labor congress, I beg your pardon, that cannot protect the citizens. It has come to a stage where we must understand that the government appears not to understand also that its responsibility is to protect the lives of people. Between 2020 and now, the number of those unemployed in this country has increased. Between Emefiele's tie and die of the Naira and now, other people have joined the poverty line. So we see an incremental number of those living below the poverty line, whereas we see certain persons within the sphere of governance who continue to encourage people to be hopeful.
Yeah, Mr. Kunu.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just wanted to quickly step in. I think a lot of Nigerians understand the tears that are being shared across the country. The cost of living crisis is at a level that we've never experienced. I'm not even sure if the Abacha times were this bad, even if there was the Abacha stove and the likes back then. But my question really is centered around the NLC. Joe Ajero and Felix Osifo, the head of the TUC. Is there any seeming sincerity of purpose in what they are doing? Now, you've said that you believe that they should defy court orders and go ahead and strike, but have you seen in the last, let's give it the last, 5, 6, 7, maybe in the last 10 years, an NLC that truly took the tears of the Nigerian people and went on to protest and ensure that their demands were met? Have you seen that happen in the last couple of years?
I have to say no. It's an emphatic no. It's an emphatic no. I have to say that. The NLC, to me, has become an extension of the propaganda agencies of government in terms of giving the people hope, yet nothing happens. That is what the NLC has begun. If you look at this country, except, of course, when I want to talk about the era of the former governor of Edo State, Adams Oshiomhole, this current NLC is an adulteration of the representative of the labor in this country, of the labor groups in this country, or the workers in this country. If you're talking about the NLC, we never knew that even Nigerians can put their destinies in their hands when we had the 2020 protest, the October 2020 protest, the NSAS protest. I'm simply saying here that I do not think this NLC really have to say that here, can really salvage the Nigerian situation of the Nigerian people. And let me help you here. For the purposes of history, so that we'll put it on record, Joe Ajero had a very serious fight with his predecessor. And the fight between them before he assumed was that the NLC could not even conduct a free and fair election. I witnessed the election in Abuja, and it was a charade where even the NLC that appears to fight the government, the election that resulted in the leadership that left office for Joe Ajero was fraught with a lot of irregularities. So Joe Ajero is in office, in my own estimation here, compensating him for that loss so that the NLC will have peace. So the NLC also as a body has a lot of house cleaning to do. And until the NLC actually revamp this filthiness, I do not think the Nigerian workers really have any group representing them. And this happens to be why many Nigerians had to take their destinies in their hands in 2020 and went to protest so that government can listen to them. So I think that the NLC has a lot of credit. Today, don't forget, they'll say we are going on this. Tomorrow, they'll say let's negotiate. And that's why the first question you asked me, what I mentioned was the NLC, if indeed it truly represents the people, should dare the government, go on this protest, represent the people properly, go to court, show documents of government's lack of honor by not fulfilling repeated agreement that the government has signed with its body. So I think that that is one way to redemption for this NLC, or else it's all pack of lies.
All right,
so
let's talk about.
Really has a lot to do. That's it.
I'd like us to talk about, the importance or the effect of strikes and the effectiveness, I would rather call it, how effective these strikes are. But before then, let's talk about the demands of the NLC and how reasonable they are. NLC has asked for 200K minimum wage. They've asked for refineries to be fixed. We've heard updates that refineries in Port Harcourt will be functioning from December. They've also asked that fuel subsidy be, the situation be reverted to status quo, that is about 185 naira. Do you think that these demands are fair and possible in today's economy?
Well, I do not understand where the word fair came from, because the oil belongs to the Nigerian people in the first place. So when you're talking about being fair, the word fair should not be used, because these resources, until the new nomenclature NNPCL, just for a few people to be in possession of the nation's resources. Let's talk about subsidy. Subsidy happens to be the money that they pay to themselves. We've had sessions upon sessions held where we know that people collected money, so-called money, and there was nothing like importation of products. So that alone establishes the fact that this so-called subsidy doesn't exist. It's a sharing formula. When they did a renaming of NNPC to NNPCL, and government tells you that it somewhat has been privatized, but the same government is the one that has not held a board meeting, the same NSC has not sold shares. I've never seen such skilled process of renaming and the supposed revamping of people's property. Excuse me, how much is 200,000 naira?
It's
just over $200.
Yeah,
if I put it at
barely $300. Yes.
Is that what, ma'am?
All right.
So,
okay. So now that we've talked about this, is the one question a number of people are asking is whether it's possible for us to be able to achieve this. But I'd like us to talk about the strikes. You've said that the NLC should defy the government and go into the streets and protest and properly represent the needs of the people. How effective would you say striking as a means of revolting has been in Nigeria? I mean, we've seen strikes happen over and over again. If we go to ASU, the education sector, for example, ASU has gone on incessant strikes. And one wonders if those strikes have held as much water. So do you think that strikes have as much of an effect as they should have? And are there things that can be added, or are there ways in which these strikes can be used to achieve the desired result?
Yes, of course. There couldn't be any other way right now but for them to go on strike, because it's the document that have ever been signed by repeated administration, especially in this Fourth Republic, are documents signed after protests have been made. That tells you that if there hadn't been protests, if there hadn't been strike action, even the documents they were able to sign with government plus ASU plus the Nigerian workers would not have been possible. I want Nigerians to tell me one thing that government has done in terms of workers' welfare in this country that wasn't as a result of strike action, that wasn't as a result of protest. That means the Nigerian people would have consistently been reading roughshod over if the strike actions hadn't taken place. Okay, let's look at this. The MBS brought a particular statistics out, that was early in the year, where we were told that 133 million Nigerians live in multidimensional poverty, and most of these poverty incidences are a result of states not taking up responsibility. According to the MBS strike, there was not a single adducing of the poverty as a result of strike. There has never been any strike in this country that has gone for a month consistently, but there have been poverty distributed for the past 20 years. So comparatively, strikes are not the reason for poverty, but of course, government not doing its job. So when we talk about strike actions are only a way for you to tell government, we are here and you have to listen to us. Tell me, for instance, they talked about upward review of salaries to the tune of 30,000 naira. All the people that collected the Paris refund money in tranches during the administration of President Bola Tinubu, most of them did not apply that money to pay those salaries and backlogs as well as gratuities. So it's not the reason why Nigerians are poor, because some people who are ill-informed, poorly knowledgeable will say strike continues to make people live in poverty. Strike did not cause poverty. It is the poor distribution of the wealth of the country, the maladministration of those in office, and of course the nonchalant attitude of the people in office that continue to breed poverty. It's not strike action. Yeah. So let us not have myopia suddenly anytime they talk about strike action. It is just that the labor union and other affiliated unions must actually come to the audience table with clean hands and be able to truly tell us that they represent the people. Until they do that, Nigerians will not see them as tell me one singular umbrella body in this country that can put the people together, if not the labor union. So I think it's important to get that straight in our mind, that it is not the strike action that results in poverty, but the consistency of the impoverishment of the people, using it as a weapon to keep them subservient and not be able to make decisions. That's the reason why we are poor in this country. And not poor because we don't have the resources, poor because people continue to share the common patrimony of the country. Right, so I need people to get that clarity today, please.
Yeah, Mr. Kunu, you of course, started by sharing your views on the faith you have in the NLC, in Joe Ajero, and of course, Felix Osifo. Do the Nigerian people have any other option? If the NLC is seen to continue to fail the Nigerian people and fail the Nigerian worker, because if you look at the protest that they had, it barely had 100 people, maybe 200 people. I don't know that those numbers show that Nigerian workers across the country are fully in line with the NLC's objectives or NLC's plans. I don't think they have a lot of faith. So what hope do you think the Nigerian worker has, and what steps can the Nigerian worker take if they no longer have faith in the NLC?
I'm not going to tell the Nigerian worker to just resign their appointment, except of course they have better alternatives. It is that the group which represents them must be called to truly represent them. If we say it is the Nigerian Labour Congress, then the Labour Congress must truly represent the Nigerian people, and the Nigerian
lost a connection with Dini Kunu there, but of course, the conversation's still going while he tries to reconnect on, of course, the Nigerian Labour Congress and its demands to the Nigerian government to, of course, increase on palliatives. Mr. Kunu,
allow them to
yes, go ahead, please.
You said what, please?
Kindly go ahead. Go ahead. We lost you for a second.
Oh, okay. I was saying that if Nigerians truly want
Okay,
yeah, well,
seems there is some connection issue.
Yeah, but of course, these are the questions that are bothering on the minds of Nigerians across the country. When you go to the petrol station these days and you pay 10,000 naira, you get 17 liters of petrol. It is heartbreaking in ways that I can't even imagine. And I'm talking for myself. I can imagine what the average Nigerian who doesn't even have my earning power has to deal with. Mr. Kunu, can you hear us now?
Yes, I can hear you very
sorry, we're having connection challenges. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I can hear you. What I said was, as far as we are concerned, let us make it clear that it's the Nigerian people that will place a demand on labor to truly represent them. The same way we look away from telling government to live up to its expectations and would rather talk about needless religious issues and not face it. Let me tell you this, and I'm going to give a classic example. In this country, people took the government of Lagos to court, not because there are potholes everywhere, but because they want their children to cover their hair in school. Out of all the taxes they are paying, they've never deemed it fit to demand from government to fix the roads. But they could go to court because they want their children in secondary school to wear certain religious attire. And that is the mental disposition we have, even to the things that affect us as a people. So when people have that kind of mindset, then you know that there's a problem in terms of how they think. So we have to really place a demand where the need is so that government must understand that truly power belongs to the people. There is no other umbrella body in this country than the labor union. Even if we have few numbers that have participated in what we've seen on TVs and everywhere. But the truth is, the respective bodies across the state can let them understand, except if they are accomplices to the things that we are seeing, that they have to go all out and do what has to be done, or else they can always recall them. There's a process for actually replacing their leaders that are not doing what they have to do. So they can actually look at that alternative so that truly they can be properly represented.
Mr.
Yes,
Adeni Ikunu, there's really, nothing more we can add to what you've said. We thank you very much for joining us this morning and having a conversation about the NLC. We do hope that the Nigerian people will be able to hold their leaders and their representatives to account. Thank you very much for your time with us this morning.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity. I'm grateful. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Well. Yeah.